For our comparative study, we will be focusing on how sci-fi movies can represent political and historical issues in the real world. The first film is Star Wars Episode 3 Revenge of the Sith from 2005, which was directed by George Lucas.
Our second film is Thor Ragnarok, made in 2017 and was written and directed by Taika Waititi.
Revenge of the Sith definitely has a political cultural context. The world building in the film is very strong and is often based off of real-world political constructs. The Republic has been established as a democratic constitutional republic which has kept to itself peacefully for over about 25,000 years. It is mainly overseen by the Senate, which is a body in the legislative branch of the Republic. It is protected by the Jedi Order, which are known as the Guardians of Peace and Justice around the Star Wars galaxy, which also has their own rules and regulations.
How can you be on the council and not be a master?
Thor Ragnarok has a historical context to it within its own universe. Most of what drives the film is based on events that happened thousands of years ago within the MCU, and is inspired by stories of real gods from Greek mythology like Hela, Odin, and Loki.
The sci-fi movie genre is nothing new to Hollywood. The Oxford Language Dictionary says sci-fi, aka science fiction, is based on an imagined future scientific or technological advances and major social or environmental changes, frequently portraying space or time travel and life on other planets. Revenge of the Sith is the movie where our main protagonist is manipulated and turned to the dark side by Chancellor Palpatine. Eventually, all of Palpatine's goals and plans come to life as the Jedi are betrayed by the Republic and the Clone Wars ends. By the end, the Jedi are wiped out and Palpatine's new empire rises from the ground. All because of Palpatine's master planning and manipulating and lying to the world.
In Thor Ragnarok, the god of thunder, known as Thor, is trying to save his homeworld Asgard, which is a mythical/futuristic place in the Marvel Universe. He is saving Asgard from his sister Helena, who was imprisoned by their dad, Odin, who was the king of Asgard. She was freed from her prison when Odin dies, and the seal that he places upon the prison that was holding her breaks. She is freed once again, and comes in a frame where Thor was just talking to his dad as he passed away. When Hela presents herself to Thor, he is confused because his dad never told him that he had a sister, because Odin tried desperately to put the past that him and his evil daughter had been hiding. So obviously Thor had lots of questions for her, and Hela had lots of answers. Hela goes on to explain to Thor that Asgard has so much power because Odin and Hela used to take over worlds. Thor had never heard of this truth because Odin, again, never told him. But Odin imprisoned Hela because he didn't want to continue doing the evil things that they have been doing. But Hela wasn't on the same path as him. She still wanted to continue being evil, and Odin knew Hela was very strong, and he couldn't keep her in check. So he did the only thing that was right, and banished her to what he thought was prison for life. So when Hela gets back, she wants Asgard all to herself, and won't let anyone stand in her way, not even her two brothers.
Revenge of the Sith and Thor Ragnarok both have great world building. The worlds and locations are normally run by a type of government. They also share themes of corruption, deception, manipulation, and lies to gain power, which is relatable to real political issues we have had now and have had historically in the past. America is a good example. As of now, America is looked at as a grand country where everyone's dreams can come true. It is often seen to be perfect and good-hearted by people, but in reality, it's built on bloodshed. In the 1800s, settlers from Europe nearly killed all of the Native Americans to gain power and control. This could be relatable to Palpatine's speech in Episode 3, and the scene where Hela explains the true history of Asgard. Palpatine used manipulation and lies to build his empire. He told all of the Senate that the Jedi were evil and tried to assassinate him.
The attempt on my life has left me scarred and deformed.
This leads everyone to believe and feel sympathy and fund Palpatine's new empire. but in reality, it was all built on bloodshed, lies, and slaughtering of thousands of people. In comparison to Odin, he gained his power and royalty in a similar way. Like Zach says, Hela explains how her and her father went around and conquering and destroying planets to gain power for Asgard. In contrast to Palpatine, though, Odin realized what he was doing was wrong and wanted to stop his insane quest for power, but Hela did not agree with him. Hela essentially became a tyrant who wanted to rule everything and make Asgard the most powerful kingdom, just like a lot of real-life tyrants and dictators from our history.
You are unstoppable. I was his weapon in the conquest that built Asgard's empire.
But Odin casted away Hela to keep his sins away from the people of Asgard, including his own sons, which enabled nobody to know the true and dark history of how the great Asgard was formed, just like how Palpatine manipulated everyone to not knowing the true and dark history of how the Empire was formed. Since sci-fi films are mainly focused on its world and futuristic society, there always has to be a sense of government or society. And because there is this, they were able to take real-life concepts and real-world issues and portray them into their own movies.
In conclusion, sci-fi movies have done a great job mimicking the real world and its political and historical issues. These two scenes are good comparisons because they both deal with a lot of issues and concepts people in the real world have dealt with, like tyranny, lies, corruption, and much more. Sci-fi movies essentially enable the audience to connect with the events that happen in their own futuristic worlds because of these connections. Thank you.